My friend, let me ask you something. How many nights have you laid awake, staring at the ceiling, your mind racing ahead, replaying conversations that never happened, imagining disasters that never came, and carrying weights that were never yours to bear? You analyze, you reanalyze, you replay every possible outcome, and yet nothing changes. The pressure grows heavier, the thoughts grow louder, the spirit grows restless. And right now, in this very moment, God is gently whispering to you, stop overanalyzing. I'm already handling it. We live in an age of chaos, endless information, endless decisions, endless what-ifs. But God never called you into a life of mental captivity. He did not place you on this earth to be imprisoned by your thoughts. He called you to trust, to believe, to release what you were never designed to carry. Overanalyzing is a quiet thief. It steals your peace. It drains your joy. It convinces you that control belongs to you. But think about this. The same God who placed the stars in the sky, who commands the oceans where to stop, and who directs the winds where to go, is the same God watching over you. Do you really believe your situation is too complicated for Him? Too broken? Too uncertain? No. The problem isn't that God is absent. The problem is that your thoughts have outrun your faith. Overanalyzing says, I must control every outcome. Faith says, God already knows the ending. Overanalyzing says, one mistake and everything collapses. Faith says, my life is held in His hands. Overanalyzing says, I must carry this alone. Faith says, God will carry it if I let Him. So why is surrender so hard? Because we fear losing control, when in truth, surrender is where freedom begins. Some of you are anxious about money. You replay the numbers, run the scenarios, and lose sleep. But God is your provider. He owns provision you cannot see. He is already moving behind the scenes. Why exhaust yourself thinking when the one who created abundance itself is already working on your behalf? Some of you are anxious about relationships. You overthink every word, every silence, every reaction. But God understands hearts. He knows who belongs in your life and who does not. Why fight mental battles when the author of your story already knows how it ends? Some of you are anxious about the future. What if it goes wrong? What if I fail? What if everything falls apart? But let me ask you this. What if God shows up? What if the thing you fear never happens? What if God has already resolved it in ways you cannot yet see? Overanalyzing does not change tomorrow. It only steals today. And God is already standing in your tomorrow. You may not see progress, but unseen does not mean inactive. A seed grows in silence, and so does God's work in your life. Overanalyzing digs up the seed. Faith lets it grow. Hear this clearly. God never asked you to carry tomorrow today. The birds do not store barns. The flowers do not stress about seasons, and yet they are sustained. If God takes care of them, how much more will He take care of you? Overanalyzing is fear disguised as wisdom. Faith is courage wrapped in peace. You cannot serve both. Every time you choose trust over panic, you are declaring, God, I believe you more than my fear. So tonight, when your thoughts begin to spiral, pause and remind your soul, this burden is not mine. God is in control. When fear whispers, what if? Answer it with faith. God is stronger than your anxiety, greater than your logic, higher than your doubts. You were not created to live in torment. You were created to live in peace. God is already working. He always has been, and He always will be. God is already working on what is disturbing your peace. Some of you are anxious about money. You replay the numbers in your mind over and over. You calculate every possibility, every expense, every scenario. But God is your provider. He owns resources you cannot see. He has provision already moving toward you, even if you don't recognize it yet. Why exhaust yourself reasoning endlessly when the one who created abundance itself is already acting on your behalf? Some of you are anxious about relationships. You overthink every word, every pause, every tone. You replay conversations and imagine motives that may not even exist. And in the process, you steal your own peace. But God understands hearts. He knows who belongs in your life and who does not. He knows how to restore what is meant to remain and remove what is meant to leave. Why fight mental battles when the author of your story already knows how it ends? Some of you are anxious about the future. You lie awake whispering questions to yourself. What if it goes wrong? What if I fail? What if everything falls apart? But let me ask you something different. What if God shows up? What if the thing you fear never happens? What if God has already resolved it in ways you cannot yet see? Overanalyzing does not change tomorrow. It only ruins today. God is already standing in your tomorrow. Aligning events, opening doors, closing others, clearing paths you have not yet walked. Most of the things you worry about will never happen. The mind exaggerates shadows into threats. It turns whispers into chaos. You spend energy analyzing problems that never materialize. Yet God, in His wisdom, protects you from dangers you never see and resolves issues before you even recognize them. If God is already overseeing it, why keep replaying it as if the outcome depends on you? Overanalyzing reveals something important. It shows that we are leaning more on our reasoning than on God. But your understanding is limited. Your perspective is incomplete. God's wisdom is infinite. He sees the beginning and the end, while you see only a fragment of the whole. You may not see progress, but unseen does not mean inactive. A seed grows beneath the soil long before it breaks the surface. And so does God's work in your life. Overanalyzing digs up the seed, searching for proof. Faith lets it remain planted, knowing growth is already happening. God never asked you to carry tomorrow today. The birds do not store supplies for years ahead, yet they are fed daily. The flowers do not stress about seasons, yet they are clothed in beauty. If God sustains them, how much more will He sustain you? Overanalyzing is fear disguised as wisdom. Faith is courage wrapped in peace. You cannot serve both. Every time you choose trust over panic, you are declaring something powerful. You are saying, God, I believe you more than I believe my fear. Some of you have prayed and waited, and nothing seems to change. You wonder if God has forgotten you. But God's timing is never late. His silence is never neglect. His delays are never denial. Sometimes God is preparing you. Sometimes He is protecting you. Sometimes He is aligning things you cannot yet perceive. Overanalyzing will only intensify the waiting. Faith will give the waiting meaning. You were not created to live trapped inside your thoughts. You were created to live anchored in trust. When you stop overanalyzing, something shifts. The weight lifts. The noise quiets. The soul settles. You realize you do not need to solve everything. God already has the answers. You do not need to see the full picture. God already sees it. So tonight, when your thoughts begin to spiral, pause, breathe, and remind your soul, this burden is not mine. God is in control. When fear whispers, what if? Answer it with truth. God is stronger than my anxiety, greater than my logic, higher than my doubts. You were not meant to live in torment. You were meant to live in peace. God is already working. He always has been. He always will be. So let go. Stop replaying the problem. Stop magnifying the fear. Start trusting the promise. Because when God is handling it, you are finally free to rest.